Have you ever stopped to think about why some countries have taller people than others? Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating comparison between Russian men and American men. And get ready, because the difference might surprise you more than you imagine. Is it just genetics? Does diet play an important role? Or are there other factors you've never considered? Stay with me until the end of this video, because we're going to unravel all these mysteries based on real scientific data. The revealing numbers. Let's start with the concrete facts. According to recent studies compiled by the NCD Risk Factor Collaboration, which analyzed over 2,000 scientific studies, we have quite revealing numbers about the average height of men in different countries. Russian men have an impressive average height of 182.4 centimeters. That's right, 6 feet. American men average 175 centimeters in height, or 5 feet 9 inches. Doing the math, we're talking about a difference of 7.4 centimeters. That's almost the size of a modern smartphone. It might not seem like much at first glance, but when we're talking about population averages, this is quite a significant difference. To put this in perspective, imagine a room with 100 Russian men and 100 American men. The visual difference would be noticeable. The Russians would be, on average, at eye level with the Americans, or even slightly above. But here's where it gets interesting. This difference places Russia in quite a prominent position in the global height ranking. The United States, on the other hand, falls into a more intermediate position when compared globally. Global context. Now you're probably wondering, and worldwide, how does this comparison stand? Let's expand our horizon. The tallest men on the planet are neither Russian nor American. That title goes to the Dutch, with an average of 183 centimeters. That means Russians are just 0.6 centimeters below the world record holders, practically tied. Right behind the Netherlands, we have Belgium with 181.7 centimeters, followed by other European countries. Germany registers 181 centimeters, also very close to the Russians. And what about the United States? With their 175 centimeters, Americans fall below the average of several developed countries. For comparison, even Brazil has a similar male average, with 173 to 175 centimeters, depending on the source consulted. At the other extreme, we have countries like Timor-Leste, where the male average is 160 centimeters, and many Asian and Latin American countries with averages between 165 and 170 centimeters. This shows us that Russia really stands out on the global stage when it comes to male height. But the big question is, why? What makes Russians so tall? Genetic and historical factors. The answer isn't simple and involves multiple factors. Let's start with genetics. Scientists recently discovered that men from Eastern and Western Europe are the tallest in the world due to very specific genetic heritage. They carried genes from the Gravettians, who were prehistoric mammoth hunters who lived thousands of years ago in Europe. This genetic heritage favored characteristics such as greater height, more robust bones, and bodies adapted to extremely cold climates. And here's something interesting. Russia has a large percentage of this European ancestry, especially in the western regions of the country. Additionally, for thousands of years, populations in the cold regions of Europe and Northern Asia developed physical characteristics that helped with survival. Larger, taller bodies retain heat more efficiently. This is called Bergmann's rule, a biological principle that explains why animals and humans in cold climates tend to be larger. But attention, genetics isn't destiny. It only explains part of the story. If it were just genetics, we wouldn't see the dramatic changes that have occurred over the last 100 years. The growth revolution. Here comes an impressive fact. In the last 100 years, humanity has grown more than in any other period of our history. A study that tracks the height of populations since 1914 showed extraordinary changes. Iranian men, for example, grew an incredible 16.5 centimeters on average. South Korean women increased 20.1 centimeters. And Russians and Americans Both also grew significantly. Russians remained among the tallest, while Americans, who at the beginning of the 20th century were among the tallest populations in the world, were overtaken by several European countries. Why did this happen? The answer lies in three fundamental pillars: nutrition, public health, and socioeconomic conditions. In the first half of the 20th century, the United States had an advantage in all these aspects. Americans had access to abundant food, developing healthcare systems, and living conditions that were rapidly improving. That's why they were the height reference. But after World War II, European countries, including Russia, invested heavily in universal healthcare systems, child nutrition programs, and improved living conditions. This created generations of children who could reach their full genetic growth potential. Meanwhile, in the United States, problems such as inequality in healthcare access, diets rich in processed foods, and obesity began to negatively impact the population's average growth. Nutrition and lifestyle, 7:30 to 9 minutes. Let's talk now about something crucial: food. The traditional Russian diet has always been rich in proteins with high consumption of fish, meat, dairy, and whole grains. Even during difficult economic periods, the Soviet and later Russian government maintained school feeding programs that ensured adequate nutrition for growing children. Dairy consumption in Russia is particularly high, which provides essential calcium for bone development. Products like kefir, cheeses, and milk have been part of the daily diet since childhood. In the United States, although there is food abundance, nutritional quality is a complex issue. The high consumption of ultra-processed foods, fast food, and sugary drinks has become common, especially in recent decades. This can impact not only height, but also the population's overall health. Additionally, there's an interesting correlation. Countries with universal healthcare systems and robust child nutrition programs tend to have taller populations. Russia, despite its economic challenges, has maintained a healthcare system that guarantees basic medical monitoring for children and pregnant women. Another important factor is lifestyle. In Russia, especially in large cities, there is great appreciation for physical activities from childhood. Sports such as hockey, gymnastics, and athletics are widely practiced, which contributes to proper physical development. Curiosities and conclusion, 9 to 10 minutes. Before we finish, let me share some fascinating curiosities. Did you know that the average height of Russians varies quite a bit depending on the region? In urban areas of Western Russia, close to Europe, the averages are even higher. In the Asian regions of Russia, the averages are slightly lower, reflecting different ethnic compositions. Another curiosity, Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, is about 170 centimeters tall, well below the Russian average. This shows that statistics are about populations, not individuals. And here's an intriguing fact. Recent studies show that for the first time in 100 years, the average height in the Netherlands, the world's tallest country, is beginning to stabilize or even decline slightly. This may be related to demographic changes and lifestyle. So, to recap, the 7.4 centimeter difference between Russian men and American men is the result of a complex combination of genetic, nutritional, public health, and socioeconomic factors. It's not just about DNA, but about how an entire society provides the conditions for people to reach their maximum growth potential. And you, what do you think about this difference? Do you believe height matters in any aspect of life? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you next time.